What's up guys, Matt back again with another video, and this is the Ichiban Kuji Dragon Ball EX Fear of Androids, and in today's video, we'll be unboxing and reviewing the entire set. Before we dive into the video, please remember to subscribe and hit the bell, like the video, comment your thoughts down below for us to discuss, follow me on my socials, and consider becoming a YouTube member to enter into our monthly giveaways and Discord server so our community can help you on your Dragon Ball figure collecting journey. I've been wanting to talk about this Ichiban Kuji set again after its release 2 years ago. I think I was a lot less critical in the earlier days of my channel because I was simply too excited to see the issues in some of these figures. So with that being said, let's start by talking about Android 16. Android 16 may have been forgotten in the overall conscious of the fanbase as he refrained from doing much in the Android arc except for fighting Cell a couple of times. His skills and abilities are pretty interesting with his Rocket Punch and Hell's Flash, plus who could forget his emotional sacrifice during the Cell games that triggered Gohan's transformation into Super Saiyan 2. However, the figure does not fill me with quite the same amount of emotions as the character did in the anime. Android 16's likeness is not the worst I've seen, but doesn't look as good as I think it should. From certain angles, he is serviceable, but straight on, you can tell that the sculpt of his face and head are too slim and gaudy. Android 16's face always struck me as a big, square-shaped block of a head instead of a slim vertical tube. It just makes him look odd. His paint and shading are subtle, but solid. The shading of the figure is applied on his green suit and skin. It's even on his black jumpsuit. With that being said, I wish they would have added some into his hair and made it a bit more noticeable on the green parts of his body. 16's biggest blemish is his size and scale. Android 16 in nearly all forms of media is depicted as a gentle giant sort of character, or someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator from the American films themselves. There are literal manga panels of him carrying Android 18 on his shoulders and even making Imperfect Cell look small. There was absolutely no reason this figure should not have been a Masterly's extra or something. He's way too small. He's the tallest figure in this set, but just barely. Compared to other figures within the same arc that he appeared in, makes his issues look even worse. I don't believe this Android 16 figure is awful by any means, but he just should have been so much better. The figure is a nice one to own and display, but I'll always be wanting a much larger one from Bandai in the future. Time for my favorite Android character, and simply one of the best figures in this set, Android 17. Android 17 has gained a lot of popularity over the years, not only because of his great design, cool demeanor, and awesome fights in Dragon Ball Z, but also because of his appearance in the Tournament of Power. His character's legacy also expanded into Dragon Ball GT, so it's clear that this character is popular amongst fans. Varuk, the sculptor behind GX Materia, lends his talent to this set by creating this wonderful Android 17 figure, and it shows. This figure has so many details that it's hard to know where to start. Android 17 looks very good in the face and is very true to his source that he's based on from the anime and manga. Him and his sister have very simple designs to their face, so I'm glad they didn't mess it up in the slightest. 17's hair sculpt is, albeit not as complicated as a Saiyan's hair, but still very well crafted with the details of each hair strand going down his head. His scarf also got the same craft and care by looking realistic with its scrunched up look around his neck. His clothes also look rightfully baggy on his body, and you can see his signature torn jeans, detailed shoes, and even his gun and holster around his waist. 17 also has one of the best paint jobs in this set with very bright colors and deep blacks all around him. He has shading nearly everywhere except for his shirt, sleeves, shoes, and hair, but they also added some metallic paint to his belt buckle and gun holster. 17 pairs very well with a majority of the figures in this set and really is a must-have. He isn't cheap, but is one of the figures in this set that really makes it feel like a legendary Kuji in some ways. Android 18, the most popular android of all time, maybe behind Cell, is now a Masterlies figure. Her brother is certainly one of the greatest Masterlies figures in this set, but does she live up to the same level of hype and quality? Well, let's talk about that. 18 is extremely popular as she is one of the only female fighters in the Dragon Ball franchise. I believe she's also the most popular female character besides Bulma. Her femme fatale personality is backed up by her incredible strength and cold personality. I love 18 just as much as the next guy and really hope to see more figures of her within Masterlies, but done a lot better than this one. Her face is really the glaring issue here. 18's likeness comes across as half-baked. She's normally designed with a larger forehead than other characters, but I think they emphasized it here a bit too much. Her nose is also way too big and low on her face. There are certain angles where her likeness looks solid, but most of the time she looks pretty derpy. 18 is great in almost every other aspect besides her face though. Her hair has even more detail than her brother, with each strand being sculpted, and they made sure to make it a very bright blonde with plenty of shading. I'm a big fan of the texturing they used across the denim parts of her outfit, which also include deep blues and plenty of shading for additional depth. There isn't any shading across the sleeves of her shirt, but there are applications of it on her boots and skin as well. They also included metallic paint on her boot and belt buckles, as well as the buttons on her jacket. There's a lot to appreciate with an Android 18 Masterlies figure, and like most Masterlies figures, they excel a lot more when paired with other Masterlies figures. But I do hope Bandai tries again with 18 one day, while addressing her likeness with the utmost care and craft. Now this is a monster of a figure. Android 19 is probably one of the most forgotten androids of the bunch. His design is certainly unique and striking, but probably not a lot of fans' favorite. Regardless, his ability to drain energy from his hands is iconic, and who could forget his experience of getting the first ever Super Saiyan Vegeta beatdown, ending with an amazing Big Bang attack. The figure even has a removable head to give us a little nod to that moment. Even though Android 19 isn't necessarily a popular character, he's absolutely awesome to have in this set. He's a lot bigger than most people expected and definitely a lot heavier than anyone in this set. 16 is still a little bit taller than him, but I think his size and scale is very impressive. Android 19's face is also done really well and looks very similar to the anime and manga. The figure has a lot of colors going with blacks, whites, orange, yellow, and red. He has loads of shading from the top of his head, face, jacket, sleeves, belt, pants, and even down on what I think are his socks. The details are just off the charts with this figure. 19 also has a bit of a glossy paint application added to his hat, where his red ribbon sign is, and that does make me wonder why they didn't give him a removable head to show his brain, as Android 20 does the same thing within this set. I think this Android 19 is one of the figures that carries this set, and even if you aren't a big fan of the character, I'm glad he not only has a Masterlies, but an amazing one at that. Dr. Gero, aka Android 20, not only has a Masterlies now, but is the best one of this set. Between Android 17 and 19, it's hard to choose a favorite, but I truly believe 20 deserves the title of best in the set. Dr. Gero was a scientist in the Red Ribbon Army when Goku defeated them as a child. He vowed revenge against Goku by any means necessary and eventually started to create super powerful androids, himself included, to combat Goku and his friends. The man is ultimately behind a lot of the issues Goku and the others face throughout not only all of the Android arc, but even in the latest superhero film. His legacy precedes him, but also as a figure too. 20's likeness is jaw-dropping in execution due to the sculptor detailing all of his wrinkles, his iconic expression, and even his detailed mustache. The details of his mustache also extend into his long hair as they sculpted out every strand they could. 20 is also the one figure in this set that allows you to remove his hat in order to expose his brain, which is a lovely bonus in an already amazing figure. The brain has a translucent case around it that shines in the light and managed to make it look very realistic inside. 20 also has plenty of texturing all throughout the figure from his hat, skin, hair, and clothes. His paint finish is very similar to 19, but I think they did a much better job with his shading application on his clothes and skin. This Android 20 went so hard for seemingly no reason, but I love it. He's one of the best figures to come from 2022, and definitely the best of the best within this awesome Android Ichiban Kuji. Finally, we arrived to the last one prize of this Kuji set, and it's once again Android 16. For those who don't know, nearly every single Dragon Ball EX Kuji has their last one prize as a recycle of a figure within this set, but as a special version. Sometimes you get something cool like Tao Pai Pai reusing most of his body to create Cyborg Tao, but in Android 16's case, he got the boring and lazy option. The only noticeable changes to this figure are that his eyes are now looking to the side and he has the Capsule Corp logo over his red ribbon one to reference 16's appearance in the Cell games. Now, I'm all for more Android 16 as he doesn't really get a lot of figures, and of course, being a collector that's trying to represent as many outfits, forms, and moments from the Dragon Ball franchise and Masterlies, I can appreciate this addition. However, I can't deny that I wish they had done something way more creative. This Android 16 really feels like an afterthought that carries all of the same issues as his Prize A version. There's not much else to be said about this last one prize other than he's a completely optional pickup from this set that should have been done far more service than his regular version. So those are my thoughts on Dragon Ball EX Fear of Androids. I think this set is kind of overrated, if I'm being honest. A lot of people really hype up figures like Android 17, Android 19, and Android 20, rightfully so, but they kind of forget that Android 16 is in here twice with all of his issues, and Android 18 has a less than stellar likeness. Does that make this a bad Ichiban Kuji? Not at all. I think this is still a great Kuji, probably on the lower end of A tier or higher end of B tier. I'll leave that up to you guys in the comment section, so let's have a discussion about it down below and talk about why we think it's A, B, or even S tier. But thank you so much for watching, guys. If you made it this far in the video, please leave a like, drop a comment down below. Let's have a discussion on this set, or maybe what you would think a follow-up Android EX Kuji should look like. Let's have a cool discussion on that down below. Thank you to all our members for supporting the channel far above what I expected you to do by becoming $3, $10, $15, $20 members. If you're a $10 member or higher, you're entered into this month's giveaway. We're giving away Dragon History, some cool Crane figures that are coming out from Blood of Saiyans and Solid Edgeworks and other places. So if you want to take part of that and hop into our Discord server, go ahead and do so. But at this point, I think I have not much else to talk to you guys about, but thank you so much for watching. I love each and every one of you, and until the next video, guys, I will see you all later.